Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Alexandria and Co. And I think that the Co really stands for conversation, and the conversations that we have, and the conversations, and building community and having those conversations. Um, this is the start of my channel, my conversation, facilitating conversations that hopefully will inspire you to go out and to do and to be the best person that you can be. Something that I am personally dedicated to on my end. And as a person who's done so much in my life, I hope to inspire others on a global scale. Um, you know, that's something that I've done and I know that I can do. And by facilitating these conversations, I know that, somebody else may find some weight in it and apply it to their life. So today's conversation is going to focus on what if everything goes right? What do I mean by that? There have been so many times that I have spoken to people and they've detailed all of the ways that what was going wrong and how it can get worse. And sometimes when I did not have anything to say, I would just ask them, what if everything goes right? What if everything looks like it's falling apart? But what if it's actually falling apart for your good? Right now is such a changing or turning point in my life. I moved back to America after being gone for 5 years, living in a foreign country, well, 2, and I'm back. And I have tried to shrink myself back into where I was before I left, to the point where it has become physically uninhabitable for me to actually be in that space. And I did it because it was safe. It was safe. It was safe, but it wasn't safe. You have these voices in your heads, you have these talents, you have these things that you want to do. I've always been a public speaker. I've always had a big mouth. I always had a loud mouth. And I kind of always wanted to be, I love media. I love movies. I love music. I love TV shows. I love that. And I have main character energy, the positives of it. I know how to command a room. If you've ever been around me, I know how to command a room. But in that, I've been a polarizing individual. Ever since I was a child, and I mean a child, and anyone can attest to this, I have had people attack me. And even to this day, I'm like, why? As someone who's in education, who's worked with children, you know that, you have the power to uplift them and to guide them. So imagine being 9 years old and having someone tell you that you need to lower your expectations, but then telling their daughter, you need to raise your expectations. And I still ask myself, well, why would I need to lower mine? And why does she need to raise hers? Why can't we just both have expectations that are appropriate, And this is someone who was in a position to guide people, to guide masses of people. And the reality is sometimes people don't really step into their power and really do what they're supposed to do. And that's just what it is. And we have to forgive them for that. Where I am now, I have having those experiences with people not liking me, talking bad about me, totally, obliterating my character. But then on the flip side, I have people who speak so good about me, people who love me, people who show that, people who speak well about me. But I focus a lot on that hate. And I always ask why, like why? Because but also I have taken accountability where there have been times where I may not have been the most pleasant. Definitely understand. I have a very polarizing personality, like we all do, like we all can do. As I explained to you previously, I've gotten a lot of hate growing up, so I've had to learn how to defend myself, and I know how to defend myself. I know how to do that very well. But I focus so much on that. Now in the season where I'm at, I'm focusing more on the love that I get and the love that I've been given, and those, being a teacher, and at this point in my time, I've been a teacher for 13 years, or been in education for 13 years. I have hundreds, maybe thousands of students that I've taught, and I would say, yeah, about hundreds, but also the students who from other classes and those who look up to me. I know that I've been quite inspirational. So when you have that effect on people, and you've had that effect on people, you kind of have to focus on that. You know, I have found that when you're hated the most, or when people go out of their ways to not like you, you got something special going on for you. And that's something that I am sticking to because it's true. So today's conversation is focusing on, what if everything goes right? What if I start this as I have, and it goes, and it ends up being something amazing, you know? This is my documentation of it. But this is not just for me. With Alexandria and Co., the conversation lends itself. It starts with me, but it also continues for you to apply to your own self. Imagine if that business that you wanted to start takes off and it does well. Imagine if I don't know, anything. What if anything that you want to do, a business, joining a running club, joining a particular group, leaving your job, which I've done. Actually, before I left for Egypt, I actually just up and quit because I was just tired of the monotony of, the American situation at that point. Um, and look what happened. I went and I traveled abroad, and that was also great. One thing about me is that I've never been afraid to do things and dare to live. However, in that, I have been afraid of being judged, of being critiqued. And the reality is, we're all going to be critiqued. We're all going to be in a position where people are judging us. The difference between that is, you either do what you want to do and take that leap of step, that leap of faith, and go after what you want and get judged, or you stay home and scroll online and get judged as well. The difference between that is that you give it a try and your heart is fulfilled because you know that you have actually did and lived for yourself. We only get one life. We get one life, not 1.1, not 1.01. We get one. And to think, and now that I have the understanding, to think that I will waste this life trying to please others is absolutely crazy. And now that I have the understanding that when I don't go after what I want, I am working to please others. Oh no, oh no. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And I know that it is now. I know what it is now because when I think of doing something, I always think, am I going to look silly? Am I going to look stupid? This has been many years in the making. And the only thing the change that's happened is that I'm not dealing paralysis analysis anymore. I deal with it, but I'm overcoming it because the rhetoric is that I'm following is, what if everything works out? This is my journey. This is something that I know that I have to do. I have to do for me. And I'm living for me. And I am encouraging you to live for you. Snap out of it. Get out of that paralysis analysis. Stop trying to figure out what's going wrong, what will go wrong, what will go right. What if everything goes right? What if you do exactly what you're being called to do and doors open up and you have a sense of fulfillment in your life that goes beyond anything that you can ever imagine? I've done it before, but this time I'm doing it on a greater level. Never have I ever done anything that commemorated who I was as a person and I not reaped a great reward. I may not have been able to know what's going to happen, but I know that when I honor myself, I sleep well at night. And my sleep has not always been great, which then I have to turn to certain things to, That's when the anxiety and the depression comes. Analyzing everything, tr- trying to be in control. And I kind of just give up, and I kind of just am walking into my purpose and something that I know that I'm supposed to do for me. It's something, I have all the tools, I have everything inside of me to be amazing, to be great, and to really, really, really have a sense of fulfillment that I pray for, that I yearn for. So this conversation piece, um, and this conversation today focuses on the question: what if everything goes right? What if you do what you want to do, or what you've been called to do, or what you feel you've been called to do, and doors open up for you that goes beyond anything that you can ever imagine? What if your children see you doing that and you inspire them to live the life that they want for themselves, or you inspire them? I don't have children, but I know many people who do, and I kind of know many who don't. Um, Even if you don't have children, what if you inspire someone else? This conversation is meant for you to find out, to discover what your inspiration is, to really lean in on that, to really see what it is that you want to do in life, and just go for it. What inspires you? What makes you get up to want to go and do? Your life can't always revolve around a job. Your life can't always revolve around your children. Your life can't always revolve around your family. Your life most definitely cannot revolve around wanting to be liked by everybody, because the reality is they're not going to like you anyway. The only person that needs to like you is you. So if you make that your daily goal and your daily hustle, how could you ever lose? You can't. With me, I have to like me. And speaking my truth and being uh, the person who I know I'm called to be makes me feel good. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone or that I have a higher calling than anyone. I just have a little bit more audacity than most. And that's okay. I dare you to be audacious. I dare you to be extremely delusional. I've always been called delusional. And all I have to say right now is thank you, because I've never not walked in double negative, sorry. I never not walked in all of my delusion. And I've never been in a situation where my delusion did not become a reality. It's called manifesting. Well, I guess my manifestation was seen as delusional. Be delusional. Be audacious. But at the end of the day, be yourself, love yourself, and ask yourself, what if everything goes right? This is the end of Alexandria and Co., the Co standing for conversation. And like, comment, and subscribe so you can join in on the weekly conversations. And please leave a comment. What are some things that you want to do in life that you are wanting to, that you begin to think of? What if it goes right? And how are you going to start? How are you going to get out of that paralysis analysis, analyzing every way that it goes right or wrong? Because I'm going to tell you, when you do that, you spend your time scrolling and seeing and looking at people who dare to do what they needed to do to feel the way that they wanted to feel. This is the end of this conversation, and I hope to hear from you. Please email. I'll post the email in the bottom or in a short few, because I haven't really set up my email yet, but I will. But you can definitely like, subscribe, and comment. And then more information on how to connect is going to continue. Have an amazing day. And remember, ask yourself, what if everything goes right? Bye.